Hey guys, so today I want to go through how, step ups and different ways of doing step ups, like with dumbbells, kettlebells, one dumbbell, one kettlebell, and the differences between them, like muscle recruitment and, yeah, you know what I mean. So, first of all, let's just start with a simple step up, like a bodyweight step up. Now, this exercise is really good for, you'll probably feel it if your glutes are weak and you're overloading this exercise, you will feel it in your glute. But it's mainly like a quad drive exercise, so you should feel it in your leg as you drive through the quad. But what you don't want to do is this. You don't want to push off the back foot and not think about controlling the movement. Step ups train the explosiveness of your legs, especially your quads, and this translates to a general increase in your lower body strength. So you'll find that it will help increase your squat and deadlift, and because it helps fix muscle size and strength imbalances by being unilateral, it will help those two-legged exercises. Now what I'm showing you here is that the knee is like a simple joint. It just hinges like that. But what you'll find is that if you have any problems with your knees, it's usually coming from like a weakness in your lower back, or a tightness or a weakness in your hip flexors, tight hips, things in your ankles, Achilles, foot, ankles. It just all comes and compacts together in that knee joint right there, like the upward and downward forces of those tighter, like the plantar fascia of your foot, your hips. So it's really important to really focus on strengthening your lower back, strengthening the stabilizing muscles like your glute med, working your unilateral exercises and all of that stuff. So you really want to focus in on those mobility stretches. And I've noticed it a lot with my girls, like their ankles aren't usually the limiting factor. So as soon as someone says, oh, your ankles are tight, your calves are tight, no, test it first. Because what I've noticed is before a lot of them even pick up a deadlift if they sumo, they can't even get into that position. And same with the squats, like you can see that their hips are so tight, it's limiting them. But if you give them an ankle test, they can easily push forward. So now what you want to do with this one is actually drive through the heel of the top foot. Notice that I'm not using my bottom foot at all to get the power up. It's all coming from my quad. I'm powering up, and as you can see, that's actually putting greater demand onto my, like you don't want to do this. That it's too careless. You want to control the movement up, control the movement down, control the movement up, control the movement down. And as you like overload this more, you really feel it in your quads, and you should feel like if you get a higher box, you'll even feel it through your hamstrings and glutes. So this is like, you can do it on the side of the box and step to the side, or you can do it like I'm doing in this one, which is I'm stepping through the middle of the box and backwards, which you should actually feel much more in the area below your ass. This one would, like to the side of the box, you'd feel more of a quad drive as you're side on and not stepping backwards, so you're not as angled. And there where you just saw me touch my belly, and now I'm doing a duck bumping. That's what you don't want to do. Like you don't want to have a duck bump like this. You don't want that. So you'll see you see that I'm tucking my pelvis and bracing my belly. You can practice like pelvic tuck planks, long lever planks on your knees, on your toes, but you really want to focus on bracing that belly, which you can see me do as it's a little bit balloon-like because I'm bracing through my belly. And now you can go ahead and add some dumbbells, which is the first variation, one of the easiest ones, because you're loading both sides. And you can still see, I'm going to swap legs so you can watch. You can still see that I'm driving off that front foot. I'm pushing through that heel. My knee is actually turned out. It doesn't look like it from this angle, but it's turned out a little so I don't get inward caving knees. See, I'm on my toe there. You really want to make sure that you're not pushing yourself upwards. You really want to make sure that you're breathing all the way through. Like, practice your breathing in between the reps to make sure that you're being alert of it and not over-focusing so much that you're not actually breathing. It's really important to keep that core tight because this exercise in itself saves your lower back, as it will be done with a lot less weight, and you're not forcing yourself into some pelvic tilt by having the back loaded on your back. The bar loaded on your back. Now, what I'm trying to show you here is that if you have a higher step, you'll be working your knee through a greater range of motion. And that means you'll be working your quads a lot more through a fuller range, and as well as working your glutes and hips through a stronger contraction. So if you are looking to make it harder, you can look towards a higher box, or if you want to keep your range of motion the same, you can just work on a heavier weight at that lower box. Now what I'm going to show you is one weighted. It's called an offset weight step up. So what I'm trying to show you now is that the stabilizing muscles in your glutes, like the glute medius and your abductors, they're all going to be coming into play now, as well as your core, because what does your body want to do? It wants to lean towards the side that you're holding the weight. You can try it contralaterally, which is the other leg, or you can try it like this, which is a little bit more off balance, because it wants to pull you towards that side, which you almost saw me topple over there, because I wasn't actually bracing, I was too busy talking. But what you really want to focus on is keeping your pelvis stabilized. You don't want to let it like dip, because that's what we're trying to work, that glute medius, which is what keeps our pelvis stabilized. You can do it with a dumbbell, you can do it with a kettlebell. But now I'm going to show you a different kettlebell version, which is like killing two birds with one stone. I reckon this one is silly, like putting your arm out, but what you can do to make it effective is hold it up like you're doing a bottoms up press and really focus in on your core, as well as keeping that kettlebell centered. Like you don't want to wobbling around, because the focus of this is you're not just targeting your hip stability and your pelvis stability and your core, but you're also working your shoulder stability because you're holding in that position. So I hope that makes sense in the fact that you don't want to drive off the back foot, but you want to drive off the front foot. You can use ankle weights, you can use anything. You can use a dog as an ankle weight, but yeah.